again, thank you for your time. I'll hand over to you, Kevin.
Okay, 1 second, so I'll just share the screen. And I'll just start the video now.
Hi, Kevin. Just to let you know, are we playing? We don't have sound if there is sound with us. So you may need to go back and make sure you've that option.
Apologies. Right. Apologies, limited sound. If I can get sound, this is all. Apologies for this. Okay, so again, apologies, let's try that again.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this session about Scottish Apprenticeships. My name is Tony Minchella, and I'm the Partnership and Delivery Manager within Skills Development Scotland, the National Skills Agency. During this session, you'll hear about the suite of Scottish apprenticeships on offer, including Foundation, Modern and Graduate. Today, there are apprenticeships available in more industry sectors than ever before, all based on the skills employers want. I hope this session will give you an understanding of what these apprenticeships involve and the benefits they provide for individuals and employers. Foundation apprenticeships have been developed by Skills Development Scotland with industry and are designed to ensure the work readiness of young people by introducing them to the world of work earlier. With an FA, pupils develop knowledge, skills and capability through structured, high-quality industry engagement that provide real hands-on experience with an employer. FAs at level 6 are the same level of learning as a higher and is for senior phase pupils in S5 or S6 who can select one of the 12 frameworks alongside their other school qualifications. Traditionally delivered over 2 years, with year 1 being the academic part of the qualification and year 2 being a work placement with an employer. Ideally, this would be face-to-face, however, we can also offer virtual placements as well. The reason I say traditionally is that some learning providers also deliver and offer a 1-year model as well. Employers would set a project with support from the learning provider in your local area and support the pupil for either a half day or a full day per week during the duration of the work placement. As you can see, we have 12 frameworks available for Foundation apprenticeships. These frameworks are aligned to where Scotland has some significant growth within these sectors, or indeed where we find that we have a skill shortage. The Foundation apprenticeship will equip young people with an industry recognised qualification, but crucially with industry experience and skills that employers are looking for. It will help support to progress onto a job such as a modern or graduate apprenticeship. It will allow an opportunity for young people to stand out in job interviews, providing them with strong personal statements to showcase the skills which they have learned in Scotland. And an opportunity to develop meta skills to equip them for the world of work, such as creativity, problem solving, communication and confidence. A modern apprenticeship is all about getting a job, getting paid and getting qualified. They offer a blend of academic learning, practical experience and are available in a wide range of frameworks from financial services to digital and from engineering to health and social care. Around 12,000 companies offer modern apprenticeships every year, including many of Scotland's top employers as well as small to medium-sized companies. Modern or existing employees. There are many benefits to undertaking a modern apprenticeship. With over 100 frameworks available, spanning across hundreds of jobs within those sectors, it gives an individual the best possible access to training, which is designed by employers and industry in mind. It provides individuals to work in a real-world environment that puts your skills to the test right away. It will give you the experience which employers are looking for, and your qualification is accredited and recognised by Scottish Qualifications Authority and employers within the sector. Graduate apprenticeships is a new way for individuals to gain qualifications through work. Graduate apprenticeships are jobs open to anyone over 16 who wants to work, learn and earn up to a master degree level. The programme has not only been designed to benefit industry, but also designed with apprentices' development in mind. Graduate apprenticeships are paid employees spending most of their time learning on the job while being supported by a structured university or college programme working towards a degree. We presently have 13 frameworks available for graduate apprenticeships. These frameworks are aligned to where we see significant growth within Scotland's sectors. They range from accounts to engineering, IT, cyber, and even early learning and childcare. With civil engineering, there are 2 levels available at level 8 and level 10. Level 8 is classified as a higher apprenticeship. And within cybersecurity, we have level 10 and at level 11. Graduate apprenticeships are fully funded and the programme is suitable for new and existing employees up to a master's degree. It will also allow individuals to develop transferable, recognised skills that are considered relevant by industry, employers and universities. And they are industry designed so apprentices can be confident that what they learn is relevant and right for them for the role that they are in. Graduate apprenticeships are easy to access and available right across Scotland. For further information on our suite of apprenticeships, can I please direct you to our website apprenticeships.scot.
Sorry about that. Thanks for that, Tony. We'll have a slot at the end of the session. We'll be able to ask any questions. But now I'm going to hand on to our second speaker. So our second speaker works currently at the company Thales in Glasgow. They started their career in apprenticeships as a modern apprentice, went on to be a graduate apprentice, I believe just completed. More than that, we're honoured to be in the presence of the Scottish Apprentice of the Year 2021. So Samir Khan-Young, somebody who's looking at a very busy next 10 days, I'm sure a full diary indeed. Samir, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and can I hand over to you to give us a bit of background, your perspective on the apprenticeship experience.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning all. I'll just share my screen. Oh, I think you need to enable me to share my screen.
Trying to find you. Oh, there you are. Okay. That should be you.
Thank you. Right, so I'm hoping you can all see that.
We can indeed.
Right. So as was mentioned, I'm a manufacturing engineer here at Thales. I started off as a modern apprenticeship and then moved to my graduate apprenticeship. I'm just going to give an overview of my story so far. I started in 2012, kind of late 2012, straight from school. I think when I started, the main kind of difference between now and when I started, I don't think modern apprenticeships were kind of pushed from schools as much. It was kind of mainly seen that if you didn't go to university, you kind of weren't doing the right track. I think there's been a massive shift in the kind of culture now. They've seen the benefits of apprenticeships, and it is ultimately the way forward in my eyes. When I started in Thales, I moved on to working in the naval cell. I worked on very complex naval systems, all the way up to full periscope systems, which the picture there is myself and Graham who mentored me. I think a really big part of the Modern Apprenticeship is, as was alluded earlier, getting the experience from these guys who've been in business for 20, 30 years and passing on the knowledge. To me, that was a massive part of it, and actually getting the hands-on skills and learning the wee tricks of the trades from these people have ultimately left me in good stead and helped me develop further. As part of Modern Apprenticeship, I finished a HNC at Annie's Land College, developed my engineering and technical skills, and it's what gave me the foundations to progress to the Graduate Apprenticeship. I also understood the Thales way of working and the systems that Thales uses. Every business uses different systems. A lot of them are the same across the board, but a few businesses do use different systems. So the reasons I chose a Modern Apprenticeship, the main thing for anybody young is that you're earning while you learn. You're not getting yourself into student debt. I've got a partner who's English, who's still paying off her student debt today, so it's a massive benefit for myself. At a young age, I was always keen to learn. The Modern Apprenticeship seemed to be a really nice balance between work life and getting academic accreditation at the end. As was alluded in the last slide, it's a national recognised qualification. I managed to progress through the SVQ level 3 and finished off the Modern Apprenticeship with a HNC in manufacturing engineering. Employee benefits such as holidays and stuff, they're always a nice to have as well. The challenges that were there, I'm always somebody that seeks out a challenge, so having a goal to try and achieve at the end is always nice, and it opened doors for the next challenge, which for me was a Graduate Apprenticeship. Also included a nice wee quote here that was from Helen Gould at Strathclyde, and it basically said that the difference between a Graduate Apprenticeship and experience learning is compared to learning a language. If you're learning Spanish in Glasgow, then it's very difficult. When you compare that to the likes of a modern and Graduate Apprenticeship, when you're actually submerging yourself, it's like learning Spanish in Madrid, which shows that when you're submerging yourself into these apprenticeships, that it's a lot easier to learn. So moving on then, I applied for a Graduate Apprenticeship. The reason for that is I wanted to push myself academically, personally and professionally. Strathclyde in Glasgow is well known for its engineering background, so Strathclyde was a nice to have for me. The course content was related very closely to the work I do, and the actual Graduate Apprenticeships developed around industry, so people from different work kind of come together and say what they would like in the course. So right from year one, it was very related to what I did in work. The programme also followed the IEng competency, which is something that in the future I really want to go for chartership. So IEng is the first incorporated engineering, that is the first step. So being able to do third and fourth year projects that link to the IEng competencies and tick them off. And then recently I've just actually applied for the IEng, so I'm waiting to hear back. So that's all through the Graduate Apprenticeship that's leaded up to. Progression from technician to manufacturing engineering. A lot of jobs out there say that you need to be working towards or hold the degree. That was the same for myself when I applied for this. So applying for the Graduate Apprenticeship allowed me to move from technician to manufacturing engineering. And it is the natural next step to move from Modern Apprenticeship to Graduate. So that's basically the story so far. I know it was quick, and I'll take any questions at the end. But anybody going for a Modern Apprenticeship or a Graduate Apprenticeship or a Foundation Apprentice, which wasn't something that was available to me when I was younger, I definitely would have been interested in it if it was. I would say to anybody, don't ever turn down the opportunity to learn something useful. Grasp every opportunity you can get to learn something. It'll come in handy one day. Even if it doesn't, you can pass it on to somebody else. The more effort you put in the Modern and Graduate Apprenticeships, the bigger reward you'll get. It is difficult to find the balance. I don't think anybody truly ever gets the balance right between working life and having spare time, but you'll benefit in the future if you put in effort. And as I've done, moving from the Modern Apprenticeship to the Graduate Apprenticeship, I'm just building on knowledge that I've already have, and I hope to continue doing that in the future. So that's my story so far, and thank you for listening, and I'll take any questions at the end if anybody has them.
Well, Samir, thanks so much. Can I just ask one? We didn't get to see your slides there. I don't know whether there was an issue. We just seem to be stuck on slide 1. But we'll share them afterwards if that's okay. We'll check that that's okay and share them to. So interesting, picking up there on your point. The perception of apprenticeships in schools with careers advisors, let's be honest, with parents, grandparents, is probably one of the biggest challenges that we face. So where would you say the major kind of assist came to you to consider the apprenticeship route? Was it school? Was it home? Was it somewhere else?
No, the main kind of focus for me is my stepdad actually works in Thales and worked down south, so he kind of put me towards applying for Thales in Glasgow. It wasn't pushed to me at all when I was at school, and it was always kind of pushed to me that if you didn't go to university straight from school, you were kind of, I wouldn't say a failure, but you weren't seen as doing the right thing. And there's been a massive shift in that culture, but it also shows that there's no kind of right and wrong path. I could have probably went to university and then went on to the graduate apprenticeship straight away, but I wouldn't have had the skills and the knowledge and the fundamentals that I have now. So I definitely think that I chose the right path.
And I think that's an uphill battle that we still face right now, which is that perception. I'm not quite sure. It's one that folks who talk in the skill circles, getting schools out of the mindset where they are measured only on the number of A-grade hires they produce and the number of university destination students that come from that too. The other interesting thing about that as well, and again refer back to the sector skills assessment, is the increase that brings in the economically inactive in Scotland and the UK as well, and that's something that work-based learning avoids, because the nature of the training is work-based, and therefore certainly after, we would say in modern apprenticeship, after 12 or 18 months, that person starts contributing positively to the business. Love to hear from anybody else who is with us this morning, any of their own thoughts or insights on the value of apprentice, or any questions for Samir or for Tony or for us this morning.
Morning, Paul. Joe here.
Hi, Joe. Morning. How are you?
Morning. Yeah, good. I'd just like to say a couple of things now. Samir, this is not a new thing. I actually started my career on a YTS with Hamilton District Engineering Group over in Bothwell, and there was absolutely nothing for me leaving school in terms of that. That was the only route in terms of YTS. And then I did my experience with Sir William Arrow, who's no longer here, that was based in Bridgeton. But yeah, what you've been saying is very, I mean, I'm hearing it from employees who have kids who are trying to do the same thing, and it's very, very difficult. But yeah, hopefully your case, certainly going to kids who are thinking about engineering certainly gets that message across. So thanks very much for sharing that. Tony, a question for you. We were contacted by a Michael Gibson, who was doing development, the young workforce for Dundee and Angus, and it was during the pandemic, and we didn't take up on it. And this was for very much this foundation apprenticeships. And what we've actually done is we've went to 5 modern apprenticeships with the Angus Training Group. But I'm more keen on this idea of engaging 5th and 6th year students to see if anyone has that engineering aspiration, especially what McIntyre can offer. Do you know if, and I mean, I've not contacted Michael since, because this, as I said, it was in 2020. But do you know if this is still getting rolled out in the Dundee and Angus area?
Oh, absolutely, and we'll bite your hand off to get you involved, if I'm being honest with you, because we want more industry involved, and particularly with engineering. So, no, listen, absolutely. If you could email me direct, I don't know if
well, what I'll do is I'll forward you this in terms of what Michael sent, because it's a good explanation, and there's a booklet for businesses on that and explains it. All right, so.
Yeah, no, that would be great if you don't mind, and maybe just from an employer's perspective, and you know, and obviously Samir with Thales, and you done your own apprenticeship, but from industry perspective, the placement or the support that we need from you can be 1 day a week through the academic year, or it can be done in block phases as well.
Sure.
You know, so whatever's best suits you as a business, so that would be ideal.
No, and again, Paul, this just reiterates what you said at the beginning in your opening address to us, that we're basically devoid, you know what I mean, of this, you know what I mean, and it's been neglected, I think, for decades, you know what I mean, just in the past couple of years. So for us, we have a high percentage of the workforce that are going into this retirement phase. Between now and the next 5 years, we changed the numbers quite dramatically, and now we're looking at this is a key point for us, introducing the apprenticeships into McIntyre at this time. So it's very, very important to us now that we start to look at that side of it.
Well, if it's okay, if you want to contact me, what I can do is arrange even a meeting with my counterpart within the Dundee area.
Sure.
But we also have what we call relationship account executives up there for SDS. And what they do, they can come out and talk to you about the breadth of the apprenticeship family, but also different grants and funds that you can tap into and that kind of thing as well.
Sure.
So we'll be able to get in touch with you fairly quickly on that.
Yeah, and we've already had the Angus training group in, and we've done a full assessment of our current engineering practices that we do here. Because it's been such a gap since our last apprentice was here. We just wanted to make sure that everything was applicable and met the modern apprentice standard. Yep. So we did that, because also what we've done is we've wanted to change a couple of these apprenticeships to both mechanical, electrical, whereas before it was predominantly just mechanical. Now we want it combined. So we want that different skill set coming into the business. So I wanted to make sure that they were able to provide that before we went down the route of starting to attract candidates.
That's great, Joe. And listen, I'm not sure we've shared Tony's email address, but I'll connect the two of you together after this to make sure.
That's great, Paul.
Joe, thanks so much.
Cheers.
Anybody else got anything else this morning before I wrap us up and let us get on with the day? So I think that was a great example from Joe of something that I get to see all the time. Go out to companies and meet with, you know, the leader, senior leader in that company, managing director, whose background has started, you know, from a work-based learning, from a training route, from an apprenticeship. And I know we have folks and companies on here this morning that are in that same situation. One of the things I would ask you to do, everybody who's on here who is like-minded, who understands the value of that apprenticeship pathway, is next week there'll be lots of stuff flying around social media, and the whole point of that is to try and raise the level of the conversation, raise the level of understanding of how positive this is. So if you get a minute next week, have a look for some of those things that are going on LinkedIn and add your voice, talk about your own journey or what it means to your company, and just to underline how important this is and how valuable it is to us all. But at that, I want to say thanks once again to Tony from SDS. We appreciate your support this morning. And Samir, also to you, congratulations on being the 2021 Scottish Apprentice of the Year. I hope you enjoy the next week and then enjoy not having to do that afterwards. But thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.